Ladies and gentlemen, what our side of the house wants is that we want to give true and harsh justice, while opening branch is giving floppy justice and the opposition does not care about justice at all. First of all, ladies and gentlemen, there are four main clashes that we have with the opening opposition. They state that the corruptors will rehabilitate, but that is not true. They state that if we impoverish them, there will be more burdens laid to the government, which is not true. And they say that what we are doing is inhumane. Ladies and gentlemen, I will explain further as we go throughout the debate on why they're wrong and why our side of the house deserves to win and not them. Ladies and gentlemen, first of all, we need to reinstate on our definition and what our mechanisms are. We define corruptors as these people that hold power, that have seats in government and steals from the people repeatedly, knowingly, even if it's just a small amount of money. Because these people are people in power that steals from the weak. And our mechanism to deter them once and for all is to impoverish them 100%, meaning we're going to take everything away from them in terms of money and asset. What we're also going to do is we're also going to take their rights to sit back into governmental seats and the rights to wield political power, which the opening government has failed to discuss at all. And in reality, what we're going to do is we're going to assure that they will not go back in power and do some corruption later on down the road. However, what makes us different from the opposition, the opening government, is that we are going to take care of the family. However, it's not in the way that the opening opposition imagined that we're going to give free money and all. We are going to give them a job those people that can work are going to be given a job such as public services or social services or customer outreach or whatever, as long as they work for their money. And these children that has not cannot work yet will be given rights to schooling and healthcare, which is an intrinsic right to all citizens in a country, which negates any argument about there going to be any extra burden on the government. What we want to give by doing this is the justice they deserve by implementing harsh rules. Why should we win this round? Is because OG says that they will make corruptors pay 150% of the corrupted money. However, ladies and gentlemen, this is not a deterrent at all. It is very likely that these corruptor has made more money in their tenure. For example, we can take Suharto. He has enough wealth for 9 generations. He was already asked to pay a fine. His family has already paid the fine, and yet they still have money over and over again, enough to do whatever they want. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the cases for most corruptors. They have more money than what they corrupt, since they money launder and do everything to increase their money. And what the opening government has stated will not deter them at all. They will not solve anything at all, since these corruptors will continue to exist and these corruptors can go back into seats of power. Thus, they are not deterred, and our side of the house wants all corruptors to be deterred and all potential corruptors to be deterred. Then that's why we have brought our mechanism by treating the corruptors very harshly, but treating their family humanely. So our side of the house, so they will not be able to rise back up and do even more evil by doing corruption. And that is why we should win this round against OG. OP has stated that they will rehabilitate the corruptors, and if we impoverish them, the burden lays on the government. Rehabilitation, ladies and gentlemen, will not work on corruption because as the opposition has failed to explain is that the key to rehabilitation is that the people that are being rehabilitated wants to be rehabilitated. And ladies and gentlemen, this is not the case for corruptors, as they are pathological liars and they will do anything to gain more money and more power, and thus rehabilitating them will actually put more burden in the government. Not only we have to facilitate their rehabilitation and their prison and everything, we run the risk of them going back to government and quote unquote learning from their mistakes that they made on how they get caught in corruption, and thus they can learn from their mistakes and do even more corruption. And ladies and gentlemen, the OP does not care about the vulnerable actors at all, ladies and gentlemen, which is society and the poor people in general. Rehabilitating them will not do anything. And even if we impoverish them, we are not going to gain any more burden, like the opposition said, but we are going to punish them. And since there is no burden, it renders their argument moot that there is a burden at all. Ladies and gentlemen, our side of the house has proven and given mechanisms that will solve the problem. The family won't get collateral and they will get jobs as public service or social services, and their children will get things and be treated humanely. Even if it seems like what we're doing is inhumane under the interpretation of opposition, but in reality, these people are more inhumane as they deprive the needs of others in a horrific manner. Even if it seems small to these corruptors, maybe 5 million or 10 million, those are a big amount of money that has been corrupted and taken from the people who really deserve them, the society who really deserve them. So is it who is more inhumane in this manner? These people that are already rich and in power and taking even more from the poor, or these poor people that has their rights taken from them? And that is why, ladies and gentlemen, we should win the debate in this round. Even if closing opposition says that there might be a mistake, that these corruptors are actual corruptors, like Pertamina CEO case Petroleum, we can easily return the money, since what we need is a deterrence for future corruptors. Notice how the society has been waiting for the government to give a deterrent action. They want justice that protects them and not these corruptors, and that is what the opposition is trying to do: protect these corruptors. And opening government is just being flip-floppy at all. We should be wary of these people who proposes reforms and hide under the guise of human rights to protect these corruptors that are people in power in the garbs of justice reforms. We should be harsh on these corruptors so they would not rise again. That is why our side of the house should win, since we have proven that our side would give a deterrence where the others would not give a deterrence, and the others are just protecting the corruptors in general. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. That we proudly propose.